Is the way you're building your business right now actually aligned with you? Hello, and welcome back to the Aligned Founder Podcast. I am your host, Taylor. Here, I guide founders, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders toward growing a business that's aligned with who they are and rooted in real connection with the right people. So go ahead and get a little cozy, maybe grab a drink, light a candle, and get settled in because we're about to go deeper. Hey, welcome back. I am happy you are joining me this week. Last episode, if you listened, we got a little heavy into imposter syndrome, the 5 different types, what it looks like for entrepreneurs specifically. And I was left with the thought that the way out of imposter syndrome, for me at least, isn't consuming more information. It's learning to trust what you already know. And I am going to show you how that works in real time today. I consumed a lot of information, and at the end of all of it, it's ultimately my gut was screaming at me and telling me what I already knew to be true. I didn't need to do all this research to tell me the answer. But if you listen to the last episode, or in general, if you are here for the first time and feel like you are suffering from imposter syndrome, you may be thinking, okay, cool. I'm supposed to trust myself more. Great, I understand that, but I still have to show up somewhere. I still have to post. I still have to put myself out there. I still have to say something to somebody about what it is that I do. And if I'm already in my head about whether I'm qualified enough to be doing this at all, how do I decide how to show up? Do I be open about being new? Do I project confidence that I'm not sure I fully earned yet? Do I document the messy middle, or do I show up like I already have it figured out? These are questions that I have played over and over and over and thought about a lot in the last week or two since reading that book, The Imposter Cure by Jessamy Hibbard. Journaled about it, meditated on it to kind of clear my head with that. That book is really heavy. It will call you out. I highly suggest it. Um, but all the things I have done to kind of process through imposter syndrome and what to do next and how I'm going to show up for myself, right? So I figured I'd share more of what that looks like if you are also sitting here and saying, Taylor, yeah, it's easier said than done. So what the hell do I do about it now? So, I am building my business to be a message strategist or a business coach to some capacity. I want to help entrepreneurs figure out how to talk about what it is that they do, how to position themselves, how to say the thing that makes the right person go, okay, yes, that's exactly who I need for this problem. That's the work that I want to do. I want to break through the typical marketing and branding strategies and lead with human connection and nurture those connections for long term growth. And I know it's not the easiest and the quickest path, probably, but to me, I just feel it's just so rewarding and it's just more sustainable because it's just rooted in that connection. And coming from someone with a master's degree in social work, I've got experience in sales, experience in marketing, and experience in my family's small business. I have found myself physically recoiling at times with certain strategies that I have seen because they just feel so icky. And I want to be able to be the voice that helps entrepreneurs see that there are other ways to market and brand yourself that feel more aligned and more authentic to you. However, at the same time, I am early in my business. I am building this as we speak. I don't have 100 testimonials. I don't have a decade of client results to point to. I haven't even opened up my books yet to work with people or have any digital products for sale yet because I am honestly still evolving my message and I am really dialing in on who I specifically am wanting to help. So all I've got is my own brand as a live case study and this podcast. So this is what I've found myself asking on a loop over and over again since the beginning, 4 or 5 months ago, when decided I really wanted to go in on this business. Do I document the messy middle, the building in public, the figuring it out, the here's what I got wrong this week? Or do I step into full expert mode, speak with authority, position myself like I've already arrived to where I want to be a year from now, project with confidence even when I'm still trying to find my footing? Because to me, I felt like getting it wrong had a real cost either way. So I went and actually looked into it and how someone's audience may perceive someone when they take one avenue or the other. And what I found is that there are 2 schools of thought on this, and people feel pretty strongly about both, I think. The first one is build in public. You document everything and let people watch you figure it out as it's happening. And this whole movement came from startup founders who were just openly sharing when things got hard, when revenue dropped, when they had to let people go. they kept showing up and talking about it anyway, and weirdly, their audience trusted them more because of it. There's actually a Journal of Consumer Research study on this that found when people don't know much about you, their brain will just start filling in the blanks, and it usually doesn't fill them in generously. So, showing the real you, real things that you are working on, your real business, the actual process, whether it's messy or polished, you are then closing the gap in someone's brain before they have a chance to make up a random story about you. You are just showing up true and authentic to yourself, and they are just having to sit with it. You are leaving no room for the imagination for them to make something up about you. So, the second school of thought is basically stop apologizing, lead with confidence, lead with the work that you do, and trust that the right person will recognize it. So, the argument is that vulnerability becomes ultimately a liability when it turns into a disclaimer. And for a lot of new entrepreneurs, it does without them even noticing it. There's a term for it, actually. It's called experience anxiety. And it's exactly what it sounds like. You are so aware of what you don't have yet that it starts coming out every time that you introduce yourself. And you may recognize that I did this in the beginning of this podcast. I'm still early. I'm figuring it out. I don't have a long track record. And you say it enough times, and people will believe that to be true about you, no matter where you're at. So, credibility isn't built on how long you have been doing something. It is built on whether someone believes that you can help them. And you can't build that if you're constantly giving people a reason not to by apologizing that you are still figuring it out, that maybe you don't understand everything. So clearly, that's something I need to work on. Then I found this part of my research a little bit interesting, actually. So we've all heard the fake it till you make it. That I think is the top advice that I feel most people say to newbies in any industry, right? So Forbes and Time both published articles on this. And in the online space, there has been this whole wave of exposed gurus, fake revenue numbers, invented testimonials, people building entire personal brands on things that just weren't true. And we can probably thank AI for this and probably fake bots for leaving fake reviews and all that shit that probably comes with building a fake business. And this is the part that truly got me. And you guys won't believe it, but some of those people, maybe you will believe it because people are shitty sometimes. But some of those people ended up pivoting into the vulnerability side of showing up online. They started showing up like I'm just a real person figuring it out too because they saw that authenticity was working for somebody else and figured that they could perform their way into it just as well as they performed their way through authority. So, what does that mean now? We've got people faking realness and we've got people faking success. And I went down a few Reddit threads on this because I wanted to see what people truly think. I don't want to hear what the studies show. I want to see the real and raw of what people think about this. And I kept seeing the same thing come up. Fake confidence works until you have to deliver on it. And when there's nothing real or substantial behind the success that you are claiming, people are figuring it out. Maybe not immediately, but they are. So after all of that, my conclusion is pretty simple. Vulnerability done honestly isn't the bigger liability piece here. I think empty authority is. And something that really stuck with me from the Forbes article was, quote, the goal isn't to fake confidence. It's to speak with genuine confidence about that which we can. Meaning the fake it till you make it is bullshit confidence based on nothing sometimes from the perspective of outsiders at least, but that is not the confidence people are looking for. They want confidence in what you know now and what you are doing in the moment. Even if you aren't the expert and you have a lot to learn still, own the shit that you do know. So, where does this leave us? I found this concept called signaling theory while I was doing the research here. And it is an economics concept that is completely new to me. I'm not that smart, so don't give me the credit to knowing this off the top of my head. But the idea is straightforward. So, people who don't know you are looking for signals, and a signal can only carry weight if it is hard to produce. So, if anyone can do it within 5 minutes, it means absolutely nothing. So, an example of this is think about how you would pick a business coach. You can't know if they are good before you hire them sometimes. So, or before you're considering hiring them, right? So your brain starts scanning for signals. What are they charging? Because obviously, if they charge a lot, then they must be good at what they do, right? Do they have case studies with actual detail that you can follow? Have they published something that shows how they actually think? Are people that you respect talking about them and their work? Those things carry weight because they take real effort and time to produce, and it takes time to evolve into that. A detailed case study with a real client journey can't be faked. I mean, someone with a good imagination maybe can, but we like to think that that's not always the case. And a track record with actual specifics behind it will take time to build. So when you see those things, you naturally trust them more. Now, look at what's cheap to produce online. Just turning your camera on and saying you're an expert, showing up with confidence and a good caption. You're posting a revenue number screenshot, which might be AI, honestly. All of that takes just minutes and it costs them absolutely nothing to do so, which is exactly why nobody is buying into that approach the way that they used to, leading with just authority. What takes actual effort is showing how you think, a decision you made this week with the reason behind it, a before and after with enough detail that someone could actually follow the process that you took. That kind of content has to come from experience that actually happened. You can't reverse engineer that. And because you can't, people will trust it more. And a Stanford study put it simply, if you flaunt it, you lose it. The more you tell people to trust you, the less that they do. Trust is something that people decide on their own after watching you for a while. Think about that toxic ex of yours. And how many times he or she probably said, trust me, I'll change. No, I need to see your actions, right? I need to see what you're doing for a while. That's kind of the same concept. So the answer for me isn't performing vulnerability versus performing expertise. It is just letting the work I do be visible, show the real decisions, the real outcomes, the process as it actually looks in the season of my business that I'm currently in. That is the signal I believe is worth sending to my audience. If what we're talking about today is resonating and you want something to actually work through on your own, I have my message alignment method interactive Notion workbook that I want to tell you about. It walks you through understanding your message, your people, and where to put what you're saying in your copy. And I want to be clear about what this is. It is not a new framework. It is not a new strategy to layer on top of what you are already doing. It is a series of questions that I ask you to ask yourself. It's built to work with what you already created and make it stronger. The whole point is that you don't need to fit yourself into something that worked for somebody else. You just need to get clear on what is already there first. You can find my free message alignment method workbook, which there's also a PDF version in the download if that is more your speed, linked in the show notes. So here's what I keep thinking about since last episode. Imposter syndrome is really good at making me distrust my own instincts. And if you are like me, then you probably start outsourcing your decisions. You are looking for the strategy that someone smarter or further along already figured out. And I think that's exactly what the build in public versus expert question becomes for a lot of us. It's not really a strategic decision that you are sitting there trying to make and determining how you are supposed to show up. It's just another way that you are avoiding starting and you are just seeking permission to get started. I find that I struggle with that a lot right now personally. So maybe it's just my own realization that I'm calling out for myself. Maybe that doesn't apply to you. But I have found that I avoid starting a lot because I feel like I need to research more. I need to get the proof of why I should start this way. And I'm not trusting my own instincts. And I think that's silly of me personally. But here is where I think stand after all the research and everything that I provided and found today is I'm naturally a vulnerable person. And I will tell you literally everything about me. I don't care. And that will naturally come through in my business too, because that's just who I am. So I want to show the work. I want to bring people into my process. I want to be honest about where I am and what I'm still figuring out because that doesn't feel like a strategy to me. It feels like me just being me. And it's the only way I can kind of, I think, show up and actually sustain showing up with the season of life that am in and the season of business that I'm in. And what I'm moving towards, though, and what this little deep dive taught me a little bit further is I need the combination of both showing the real process and standing confidently in what I already know. People will trust you when they see both of those things at the same exact time, the work and the person doing it. And that is what I'm building towards. So, if you are sitting in that spot, you're trying to figure out whether to document the messy middle or step into an authority that maybe you're not sure you've earned yet. I just want to leave you with a few things to sit with before you decide. Who are you performing for? Who are you showing up for? Is it the people that you want to actually work with, or is it some imaginary version of them that you have built up in your head that you think that you have to impress? Or if nobody was watching you, you had zero followers, zero judgment, zero chance of getting it wrong in front of an audience, in front of the world on social media, right? How would you show up? What would you want to talk about? Because whatever just came up for you, that's probably the version of you that people would actually trust over that curated version of you that you have been trying to create because someone with 500,000 followers told you that's how you had to be. And I hate to say that I had to do this research to figure that out for myself. When showing up as me deep down always just felt like the right thing to do. But in the world of social media, everyone's opinions on what you should do is so freaking loud. You already have something worth showing, whether it's completed or not, or if it's perfect or not. So the question is, do you trust yourself in what you have to offer? Is that enough to allow people in to see it? Now, I want to hear from you guys. Drop a comment and tell me how you answered those questions today. What came up for you? What have you been sitting with in your business that has been maybe driving you absolutely batshit crazy because you don't know what the heck is causing it? And if there is a topic that you want to talk about, whether it's something you're dealing with, something you want to go deeper on, doesn't even have to be about business strategy. It could be about personal shit too. Tell me that. The show is built for you. So help me make sure it's actually connecting with where you need it most. And I will see you on the next one.